Cool. For a digital native, I'm extremely untech savvy, so bear with me. My slides are probably going to start moving by themselves at some point. Kia ora, I'm Eleanor. I'm here speaking as a member of Generation Zero. As I said, we're a youth-led climate action organisation. It's a little bit intimidating standing up here after hearing all this fantastic kōrero all day. I trained in environmental science. I have read a lot of Mike's work. He always succeeds in reigniting my anger with the world. So I'm going to try to channel that today. So we try to mobilise New Zealanders to engage with decision-making and campaign for intergenerational climate justice. We also hang out and eat a lot of snack food. It's a pretty good time. So our goal is we want to make sure that our future is not shit. That's where we're at. After years of hard work from our members and from many, many other people, Aotearoa passed a zero carbon bill last year, which is very exciting. And I'd just like to take an opportunity to thank Pacific climate warriors, because Generation Zero often gets credited with being like the origin story of the Zero Carbon Act, and that's bullshit. Like, it started with you guys and your fight and your inspiration, and that's amazing. And we don't deserve that credit, so please take it. So Aotearoa is shooting for a zero carbon 2050. We're hoping it's earlier, but 2050 is the goal the government set. 2050 is 30 years away. I will be 53. I've put together some snapshots of what I'm hoping my not shit life will look like by then, so I thought I'd share them with you today. Here is me with my energy-efficient, healthy, warm, dry home in a little co-housing community where I live close to the inner city. I'm going to spend my time complaining about kids these days and hanging out with my neighbours who I'll know super well because we've all lived there together for a long time at this point. And I'll also have a pet duck, Eduardo, and I will be able to rock a pantsuit. I'm looking forward to the day. Assuming I get less accident-prone as I grow older, I will be able to bike to work, and I will enjoy it, and I will not be terrified for my life. Here is me at work. I'm not really sure what I'll be doing in this scenario. It's kind of hard to imagine a future where I can make career choices based on what I want to be doing with my time instead of like overwhelming, crushing environmental anxiety. In my lunch break, I will go and sit by this cool rain garden and listen to the birds while I eat my lunch. In this scenario, it will always be sunny during my lunch break. Later, I might hop on this cool bus, which is part of our super efficient, accessible and convenient public transport network, go have dinner with a friend. I can even take my bike on this bus. It's going to be a good time. Once we've run out of celebrity gossip, which is something that I will finally have the mental capacity to give a shit about, I will bike home. So that's an excellent day in my excellent life, and I'm looking forward to turning 53 in 30 years' time. So now I want to backtrack almost 30 years. So Paul Rudd looked like this 30 years ago. He's turning 51 this year, and he looks like this. So like 30 years is no time. It's time to get our shit together. I am supposed to be talking about environmental solutions, but I think that that's kind of an unhelpful division because Generation Zero is trying to campaign for intergenerational climate justice because climate change is not just an environmental issue. As we've heard today, it's a social issue as well. It's a product of inequality and a broken economic system, and it's going to affect each of us differently, and some people a lot more than others, as we've definitely heard today. For instance, as they said this morning, we know that Māori, Pacific and low-income groups are going to be far more affected by climate-related health impacts, which is shit. That's got no part in our not shit future. So our environmental solutions need to account for these inequalities. Environmental solutions are not solutions if they come at the expense of others. So take, for example, solar power. Harnessing green energy from the sun. It seems like a win. It's also very expensive, which means that without subsidies and grants to low-income households, it's only the more affluent members of our society who can afford to do right by the environment and go off-grid. Our national power grid is a very expensive piece of infrastructure and is being paid for by the people who are using it. Unregulated, the solar revolution runs the risk of accidentally starting a solar poverty spiral, where the people who can afford to move off-grid do, which makes the grid more expensive for the people remaining on it, which makes going off-grid seem more attractive, and more people move off-grid, and then the power prices go up, and so on, until you're left with a situation where the only people remaining on our now very expensive grid are the ones who are least able to afford to pay for it. We've got to avoid that kind of solution, and to do that, we have to co-design our future together with everyone. Not just those who shout the loudest, and that means actively engaging with people from every part of our society, especially those groups who face a history of exclusion. And I apologise for using the word engaging, but it's like the best word we've got, but it's inadequate. We have to engage in a way that's accessible and genuine to develop solutions. And I could stand here and rattle off for you some of Generation Zero's solutions, so we'd like to see Te Tiriti o Waitangi on it. We want renewable energy, massive investment in public and active transport infrastructure, density, radical efficiency in our homes and buildings, regenerative agriculture, pest-free Aotearoa, huge-scale native bush regeneration, clean water, sustainable fisheries. You get the picture. We and others have told you all of this before. They're not new ideas. If you'd like me to email you a list, give me your email address later. We have templates set up. Why is it so hard for us to make these things happen? They seem so obvious. Young people, like so many other groups in our communities, are being locked out of the conversations and the decision-making processes, and it's not because we're not given plenty of opportunities to engage. It's because we're being expected to engage in an outdated, exclusionary manner that puts us at a disadvantage. The reality is, the young people of Aotearoa are not here as a source of free policy advice for you to dismiss as unrealistic or naive. And when I say young people, I don't mean Generation Zero. I mean in a broader sense. We are definitely not representative of young people in Aotearoa. As was spoken about earlier, making a space at the table is not enough. You've got to stop expecting youth to engage in policy discussion on the level of someone with 20-odd years' experience in the public sector, or someone like me who's an absolute nerd and thinks that listening to podcasts about buses is a form of self-care. It's already much harder to advocate for change than it is to maintain the status quo, especially when you lock us out of the conversations because you think we can't engage in the ways that you're used to. That's naive, and it's not co-designing. And setting aside the policy and the nitty-gritty, I'd like to impart some bigger picture observations for you to hang your policy on. We've got to do more. This business as usual with a sprinkling of urgency way that we're doing things is not working. The slow and steady incremental change, get the NIMBYs on our side model is too damn slow. We need to be braver, more ambitious, and start trialling solutions now so we can find out what works in the Aotearoa context. We can't keep setting the conversation level with the public at car parks, yay or nay. We need to have the conversation that our whole lives are going to change, our society is going to change, and it's going to change for the better. And to do that, we need to change the language we're using. We need to use strong words appropriate to the crisis and to the urgency. We need to sell our beautiful future. We've got to sell those co-benefits, and we've got to make people want it. I shared with you today a glimpse of my life in my not shit zero carbon future, because we need to tell positive stories. The future we build together is going to be bright. Kia ora.
Paki. Kia ora e ho. I look forward to being part of your not shit future, but clearly to have that, I probably won't do the biking, it's not really my jam, but to have a not shit future means we need to be doing the mahi today, so ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Ho mai te paki.